So you have funds to make your films, and you have a studio system that has celebrities that you can easily access the stars that will star in your film. When you say independently produced films, it's about people who are so passionate in making films. Like for example, you have an extra 1 million pesos in your pocket and you want to support a filmmaker who's not part of the studio system to make his film. So you venture into that. Independent filmmaking has been happening. Like, I think it was Fernando Poe Sr., first ever independent film producer and filmmaker in the history of Philippine cinema. So he's not part of any big studios like LVN Sampaguita. But he started his own films, and then eventually he grew into what he is now. Now we're in these interesting times when studio stars themselves are looking to be part of the independent film community. So stars like John Lloyd are aching to produce independent films. So now it's kind of like things are joining forces. The community are joining forces to produce films. So nabiblur na yung line between mainstream and independent film. So it's really about making good films after all. The technology is already there. Big studio producers are also producing independent films na rin. So we're living in an interesting times, and it's very good for you guys because after you graduate, you have a choice if you want to venture into independent filmmaking as well, or join the big studio to make mainstream films. And if you say mainstream films, usually these are formula films. Formula meaning, doesn't mean that this is just the film that they want to do, but because it's simply because these are films that are being watched by the audience. It sells. So if you have a product that's that sells all the time, you don't want to change that, right? So that's why it became like a formula film. So I don't want to label it independent films or mainstream films, because some independent films are adhering to that kind of formula style of filmmaking because maybe they want to penetrate the current trend of what the audience are watching. So they're following that formula. I mean, some independent films are going into that, but a large numbers of independent filmmakers would want to explore other ways of telling their stories. Like me, I mean, I'm surprised that I'm part of this MMFF. I mean, I'm not even a narrative filmmaker. I'm a documentary film journalist. So it's very surprising to be part of this. Obviously, I'm not part of that formula thing, of doing films. As a director, I'd like to speak to my audience through my films by making them empathize to the characters of my story. Because my characters are the reflection of the audience. So it is my wish that every audience will be inspired, will be moved, emotionally, get this emotional high if they watch my film. So, and at the same time, I know that film is a very powerful tool for social change because I'm doing documentary film. So I just hope that, through my films, the audience can be moved to improve their lives, to improve other people's lives, and be part of, the development of the minds. I think it's the journey of every film. It's always the audience, I make my films for my audience. I'm not those filmmakers that make cerebral films, which I think are also very important. If you want to really develop a different kind of niche market, and there's a market for that, and there's a time. Sometimes you want to try other stories that would really elevate your sensibility and would really challenge your way of thinking. It just so happens I'm a documentary filmmaker. My background is TV, so I try to make films that would be understood by high school students, by children, and also if I think that if I want to change the world, of course, I might as well encourage people to be part of that change. So what a better way than to speak to them through my film. So audience, they're very, very important because they're the one who will move your film towards finding its market. Well, don't be afraid. I mean, if you're very serious about about independent filmmaking, mainstream filmmaking, it doesn't matter. But don't be afraid to challenge yourself to make a good film that would inspire people and that would help this country. Because more than anything else, I mean, this country needs all the good people, all the great minds that we can have to move us forward. So if you're into films, use that as a tool to inspire other people. And andyan I mean, the technology is there. the talents are there. We have great actors, venturing into independent films, opening doors, and sooner or later the international community will come in because our film agency, government film agency, the Film Development Council of the Philippines, are also looking into film tourism. And us also, I'm part of the documentary network, DocuPeeps. We're also looking into bringing in international uh, documentary filmmakers that can teach us new ways on how to tell our story. So it's an interesting time. I mean, let's all work together, and especially you guys, you have new ideas, you have better perspectives on things, I'd like to think. So, I mean, use that to tell a story and use that to move your audience. I mean, don't alienate your audience because they are your ambassadors to champion your films.